There we go. Okay. And let me switch it back to you. Okay, you're up.
Hey, thank you. All right. It was awkwardly silent, so I'm glad we got that figured out. That tells you the level of my tech skills, that my volume was all the way down, and that was the problem. Okay, welcome to our team Zoom call. My name is Wendy, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about transformational versus transactional sales. And I am by no stretch of anyone's imagination an expert on this. I had listened to Bob Heilig talk about sales and the transformational versus transactional theories, I guess. And it was so interesting to me. And then in the last couple of days, I've done a deeper dive, and we're going to get down to this. And I really, truly feel like people who are stuck in their business right now, by changing the things that we're going to talk about today, I really feel like you will change the trajectory of your business. So we have a lot to be excited about in 2023. The Hawaii trip is anyone's game. I'm telling you, I am not a super high enroller, and I've earned one cruise and another cruise. I was trying to eep into that. I think it was number 5 spot, and I wasn't even trying. I didn't think that I could ever win anything like that. So I didn't have my hustle pants on. I wish I had, right? Because then I would have earned a spot, I think. So don't look at those prizes and look at what you have to score to earn those prizes and think, oh my gosh, I can't do that because X, Y, and Z is better. And X, Y, and Z, those influencers are going to win the trips. Well, it's anyone's game. And there are a lot of prizes that you can earn by enrolling a few people a month, and you guys can look at the conditions to those prizes. That's not what this call is about. This call is about 2023 and all of the excitement, all of the possibility in our reach. One of the things that Bob says is that the secret to success is not in the acquisition, it's in the retention. So of course, we have to constantly be bringing new people in. I think the minute that you stop enrolling is the minute that your business takes a turn. We have to constantly be bringing people in. I see Creeper in the background. Thank you, Tyson. It's so the retention is the bread and butter of our business. It's our loyal members. And then obviously we need people sharing because that's where duplication comes into play. So let's talk about the recession. Now, I don't know that we are in a recession per the new definition of it, but when we look at what's going on, we definitely are in a recession. And I think with that, there are stories that we tell ourselves. And I'm just kind of curious what you think about your business when you hear that we're in a recession, when you feel what it's like to go to the grocery store and eggs are $7 and meat is $50 a pound, whatever. What stories do you tell yourself when you think about our economy being in a recession? Melissa, what do you think? Do you think people have a lot of money and they're going to come shop in your store? Or do you tell yourself and do you hear from your people that people don't have money right now, so they're not going to want what I have? And maybe it might feel a little bit, I don't know, inconsiderate or lacking compassion to be talking about my oils and my cleaner and my supplements. And we can tell ourselves stories like this all day long, but finances are private and people buy based on emotion and they buy based on value, and we don't know what someone else is thinking. So Nicole says, I feel like people won't spend the money for products that they may not feel are necessary. Yes. Julie said that people will still make purchases if they want them. They'll find a way. Yes. So this is some interesting stats for typical recessions happen every 8 to 10 years, but it's been 15 years since our last recession in 2008. This is the longest period in US history that we have gone without repeating that recession. And traditionally, businesses like ours grow about 5 to 6% during a recession when they normally grow at a rate about 3 to 4%. So our type of business actually does really well in a recession. And I don't want to get too excited about that because I don't want to see our economy struggling. I don't want to see people struggling. I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. But the numbers tell a story that our type of businesses do well in a recession because they don't follow the regular cyclical platform, I guess, or cyclical trends that a traditional brick and mortar business do. So we know that direct sales has grown exponentially over the last 4 years. So over the last 4 years, we have seen just out of this world growth, and direct sales or consumer like face-to-face not face-to-face, but like online contact where you have that person versus going to the store and not having a relationship or an experience. We did 128 billion in 2022. So last year, 128 billion. We are predicted to do 218 billion in the next year. So by 2024, we are predicted to be at $218 billion. So in 2022, we did 128, and we're estimated to do 218 billion. So my friends, you are in the right place as far as businesses go. People want what you have. And in this type of economy, our business does really well. Now, people who normally might not have been interested in our business during a time like this will be a little bit curious about what's going on. And the information that I read states that hunger yields a longer lasting organic foundation or stability for your business. So the people that come on board right now come on board and they stay on board. So Bob Heilig is who talks about this transformation versus transactional sales, says that he thinks that the level of growth that we're about to see, we will have never seen before. During COVID, we had kind of a fake growth, and that was a very unusual time. People were at home. This was unprecedented. We didn't know what to expect, and a lot of people had money, their stimulus checks that they otherwise didn't have, and so there was a lot of spending that was a little bit inflated. So that was a really weird time, something we'd never seen before. And people were uncertain, and it didn't yield long-term growth for us. So the world is changing, sales are changing in our industry, and we need to learn how to sell to people in a different way, because people are looking for online models where things are personalized. They're seeking an experience, and they can get that experience from us. And research says that customers abandon companies when there is no perceived value and no experience. So Forrester Research is apparently a really renowned research group, and they look at people and their trends and their expectations, what they want. And right now, people's expectations are much higher than they've ever been. And they'll spend money when the perceived value is higher than the price. So if you are not growing in your business right now, if you are not enrolling people, then it might be a time to look at how much value you are creating. So I know that I have been told over and over again, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. I have to talk to my husband, or I don't have money right now. And then 2 days later, you see people, the same person that said they didn't have money at Disneyland with all of their stuffed Mickeys and Minnies and all of the gadgets that are so expensive. So obviously, one could deduce that they had money, they just didn't see the value in what you were selling. And that's okay, because we can hone in on those selling skills. There is an art to selling, and it's something that you can acquire, just like communicating with people, just like people skills. We are in sales. We sell products, we offer experiences, and sales is just a conversation. It's passion communicated, but we get all weird when we talk about the fact that we're in sales, and what are they going to think? Are they going to think that I'm just trying to sell them this jar of rose ointment because I want to make $5? Or are they trying to help my son's skin after he, hit the gravel on his motorcycle? We tell ourselves stories about what people are going to think when we are making a profit off of a product. Well, some people do. But sales done right is the ultimate form of service. It is passion communicated. And I know several people struggle with the fact that they're selling something. Well, we got to get over that. We have to get over that. So take yourself back to the season when you bought your oils or whatever products you bought that brought you into Young Living. What were you feeling at that time? I mean, really think about that. What was going on in your life that led you to Young Living? And I could talk for an hour about what was going on with me, because Young Living totally changed my life. And I could have never predicted such. But I was lonely. I was looking for community. I was miserable with migraines. My kids wouldn't sleep. My husband was in medical school. I was stressed out. And that's where I was when I was brought into Young Living. I didn't even know much about it. I was just like, sign me up. If that helps you sleep, helps with headaches, put me down. Don't even care how much it costs. So we're going to talk about transactional versus transformational sales. Transactional is driven by a product and price. So if you lead with the price and the product, you'll end up hitting a wall, because this type of sale does not maintain loyalty. It does not maintain retention. It's searching for the best deal I guess showcasing your product at a reduced price with an incentive, with freebies, but you're leading with the price and little tidbits about what this product does. People buy things because they're on sale, because they're a great deal. And there's no emotional attachment to it sometimes. I know that when I see the sale rack at Macy's, I go crazy. And I feel like I won the lottery when I grab an item that is like 90% off. I may not even like that item, but I got a good deal on it, and I may never even wear it. But God darn it, I got a good deal on it. People like sale items. But when there's no emotion, there's no attachment. It's a transaction. And when we have these transactions, there's not a lot of value in this method. And when we are messaging people on Project Broadcast or just in our regular Facebook Messenger, it can come across as spammy and not personal. When we have and the Ninja kit on sale or 15% off, what have you, which we get really excited about. But when when we bring people in based on a great deal versus perceived value, there's no momentum. There's not a lot of reorders. It's a little blip in your downline viewer, and it can lead to frustration. And it can make you feel like garbage when we're so excited when we bring people in on a sale with this transaction. And then when they don't keep ordering, it makes us feel like garbage, or it makes me feel like I failed anyway. And you know what? Some people are just not going to use their stuff. So it's not always us. But traditionally, these transactional sales, when we bring people in based on bullet points of what our product can do and at a reduced price, that does not equal longevity. It doesn't equal retention. So transactional sales may feel really good in the moment, but usually are not going to yield longevity. Like I just said, they're not great for the long game. So when you are messaging your members in your Facebook, Instagram, email, whatever it is, do you write your messages so that people feel like you're just talking to them? Or does it feel spammy? And like, you know how it is when someone is trying to sell you something and they've got a product in mind. You're like, well, tell me about it. And they send you this big blurb and you know that that's script, right? How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like they really care and want to help you? Like they're trying to solve a problem for you or trying to sell something? So when we're messaging people, when we're messaging people with price and product focus, we need to make sure that that we're cognizant of making them feel like we're just talking to them and we're not being spammy. And what I read is that transactional sales lose effectiveness in a down economy. So people want value when the economy is like it is. And these transactional sales just don't, it just doesn't, it's not going to do the trick for you. Okay. So transactional sales are also very attached to results versus helping people, right? We close the sale versus did that product actually help so-and-so's son's road rash? So we have to try to get out of a transactional mindset when we are selling. Transformational, on the other hand, is opposite. It's sales focusing on serving. It's doing more listening than talking. And at the foundation of a transformational conversation is a problem. So transformational sales is really being a problem finder and solver. And that requires us to ask questions, listen, connect authentically. And this is going to take a little bit longer, but this is quality over quantity. So when you sit down and you are working your hour and you are connecting and engaging with people, you're going to have so much better results if you focus on transformational conversations versus transactional. It's going to be less in the transformational category, but it's going to give you a much better result. So keep in mind that you are your ideal prospect before you got started. And I had nothing non-toxic in my house. I was walking around barefoot, pregnant, bleaching the floors. I was rubbing dryer sheets on myself because they smelled really good. And I had a candle going in every room, wax warmer, you name it. I was not at all in line with this wellness, non-toxic lifestyle. So if I looked at me, I'd be like, she doesn't want what I have. But I'm actually the ideal client. I was. And I just reached out to someone today who is, she's a local gal and she's a bodybuilder. And I don't know what compelled me to do this, but I messaged her and I said, you know what? I really would love to give you a spray bottle of this cleaner. I'm sure you are absolutely in line with this non-tox living, whatever I said, because you focus so much on wellness and building your body. And she was like, no, I don't know anything about non-toxic lifestyle. And I just was, oh my goodness. Oh, I have so much to teach you. And she was so open to hearing, because someone who's going to spend hours in the gym every day treating their body like that should be aware of what's in their life as far as chemical goes. So that's kind of an example of you being you before you started being your ideal client. Not that I'm a bodybuilder, but you know what I mean. Just not knowing what you don't know. So the value, so for transformational conversations, we have to ask purposeful questions, get to know our prospects, because that builds trust. And that trust means that you'll be able to influence them. And when you're focusing on really getting to know someone and looking for the problem, it's going to be easy. It's going to be effortless conversations instead of feeling weird, transactional. The value isn't in the product, you guys. The value is in you. People buy what you do and why you do it. And when the people believe that the value is greater than the price, they're going to say yes, even in a recession. Price isn't as important as we think it is at all. And like I said, we don't know what people are going through. We don't know what their finances are. So we shouldn't be projecting things like so-and-so, I'm not going to talk to so-and-so about this because they can't afford it. No. I mean, I just did this with my friend the other day because the economy has taken a real hit on their family and she needs oils. And I said, well, just come down here and get some because she needs them. And I didn't want her to be burdened with buying them. And she was like, oh no, I'll just buy a couple at a time. And I didn't want her to get in hot water with her husband because, like I said, they're very affected by what's going on in the economy right now. And I just did what I said we shouldn't do, which is project and act like we know what someone else's finances are. So price isn't as important as we think, and we really don't know what people are going through monetarily or finance-wise. So we make purchases based on value and emotion. And I never take, I can't afford this right now. I think that is more of, I need more information, and maybe we can talk about how we can get this in the most cost-effective, be super strategic. So in talking about value, like that's great. Bob Heilig says, build value and your people will come to you. But what does that really mean? He said that if you are stuck in your business, that you are probably not creating enough value. You're not sticking out. And there are 3 levels to building value. And the first one is product information, which we talked about, which is transactional. And that's focusing almost entirely on product information, like what's inside of this product and the price. So those are great things. They absolutely are. But products, when you come out the gate saying we've got the best products, the best ingredients, the best science, the best compensation plan, the best company, the best system, the best team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, our customers and our clients are always hearing things like that. They're being bombarded all day long. They're being sold to nonstop. And so if we're only talking about how this rose ointment has the best ingredients and we have the best company and our team is the best, we have the best team calls, whatever, it doesn't mean anything to people. It's not going to work. It's not going to grow our businesses because there's little to no value in just talking about the product and the price, because everyone is saying it. Everyone on social media that is selling something is coming out of the gate saying, this is that we have the best ingredients, the best science, this is the best product. And this causes a sales resistance in people. It triggers people to resist what you're saying because they feel like they're being sold to. So when you lead with your product and price, actually backing people into the corner. Okay. So no one ever says, I mean, think about this. Bob said this. He's like, nobody ever comes out and says like, yeah, this is the 3rd best ointment on the market, or this is the 5th best marker on the market. No, everybody comes out and says that their product and their company is the best. So why should anybody believe what we're saying? We're not going to stand a chance in 2023 if we don't stand out and add value, if we're just focusing on transactional product information and price. We need to connect with conversations and we need to solve a problem for people. So the second little prong of value is problem. Yes, we are in the wellness business, but so is everybody else that sells products like us. What we really need to be in is a transformation business. Our purpose, our community, our connection, those are transformational. And I think this is relevant because, well, for me, because at the time that I bought my premium starter kit from Melissa Kohler, I was also talking to somebody from doTERRA. And at the time, I didn't know the difference in quality. I knew nothing. I didn't know that the oils from TJ Maxx were different than doTERRA, like literally knew nothing. And I picked Melissa because she was engaging with me. She put me in the community and she was answering my questions. So it didn't really matter if doTERRA was a little bit cheaper because Melissa was giving me what I needed. She was solving a problem for me with community and actually the personal aspect of it, where the girl from doTERRA wasn't. So I picked Melissa. I didn't pick Young Living because I didn't know Young Living was better. Thank goodness I did. I picked Melissa because she was showing me purpose, community, and connection. That's transformational selling. So we need to, let me take a drink really quick. We need to focus on, I help people with their dry lips. I help children when they crash on their bikes and have road rage, whatever. Those are silly examples. But we need to make a shift that we are helping versus talking about how awesome this cup is and what a great deal it is. I help because that's transformational. That is what people are looking for. All right, that's the easiest way to create value, is to focus on how you can help. And then the third little piece of value, so we've got our product, we got our problems, and then we have professionals. So bringing people along in this business. And that is a three-prong talk of mission, vision, and values. Okay, so your mission is tied to I help. I help people detoxify their lives. I help people sleep better at nighttime. I help women not lose their ever-loving minds during their monthly cycle, whatever. I just throwing out silly things right here, but your mission is I help, okay? And your vision is why you do it. Why are you doing it? And your value is how you want to get it done, okay? People don't talk about these things. They talk about their product and price. They don't talk about their mission and their vision and their values. Bob shared about a Harvard Business Review, which looks in depth at consumer behavior. And the number one thing that people want right now and going into 2023 is what they want above value and experience is purpose. They want to know, sorry to look at my notes. I thought I read that wrong. I was like, that's not right. They want to know who they're buying their products from. Like in 2023, what does your company stand for? They want to know who they're giving their money to. And guess what? Our company is off the charts with integrity and what we stand for. We couldn't be in a prettier position as far as talking about the integrity of a company with any other company. Young Living, no one holds a candle to the heart and the purpose behind Young Living. We focus on people over profit all day long. No other company has items go out of stock that cost them millions of dollars because the quality is not up to par. No, they're going to sell something that's subpar because it's about money. Our company isn't. We are different. We are so different, and we couldn't be in a prettier position. I know the heart of this company. And if you don't know the heart of this company yet, I encourage you to go look at YouTube videos because I've never experienced anything like it in my life. This company is all heart, and it always has been and it always will be. So, according to Harvard Business Review, consumers want purpose. Where's their money going? That matters more than anything else. They still want to have that experience and that value, but beyond that, who are they giving their dollars to? So the mission is what you do, and you don't want to trigger a sales resistance response by leading with transactional sale and product information. You make the difference. You are what's going to stand out on social media or in person, and that's why people are going to choose you. So there were some questions that Bob presented that you can ask yourself, because this is kind of hard for people. This part of the value of the mission, vision, and value is harder for people than the other two, because those are obvious, the problem and the product and price. But questions to ask yourself: what kind of impact do I want to make? That's not about selling some rose ointment. It's so much deeper than that. What impact do I want to make? Do you genuinely want to make people the healthiest versions of themselves? Do you genuinely want people to be well? Or do you just want to make money selling oils? And I'm sure everyone on this call wants to help. It's not about selling a bottle of oil. And what kind of life do I want to live? Because the business goals of like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to hit platinum, or I would love to hit diamond. I would love to hit Royal Crown diamond. That's great. But does that even really mean anything? And I can tell you, I don't know how long when I hit Royal Crown diamond. I think I hit Royal Crown diamond in 2018 and nothing changed. Nothing changed. It's the same as when you're an executive or you're a star. It's just your numbers are different. Nothing changes. You all of a sudden aren't more confident. You all of a sudden don't have to do certain things. No, it's your business goals are so much bigger than that rank. Business goals are so much deeper. What kind of impact do I want to make? And what kind of life do I want to live? Because when you're intentional about answering those questions, then your passion and purpose are so crystal clear that people are going to see it. Okay. When we see posts on social media about the big fancy houses and the big fancy vacations and whatever else big and fancy that you can do when you start making a lot of money, selling the dream, selling time freedom, money freedom, all the freedoms. You can't sell a dream to somebody when they're living in a nightmare, when they're in a bad situation themselves. They are not even going to see the possibility of working remotely from Fiji or whatever. So selling that dream of what diamond can bring you, what Royal Crown diamond can bring you, whatever, they're not even going to buy into it if they're in a really crappy situation themselves. We have to build that trust through connection in order to influence them so that they can open up and be possible, or they can open up and see the possibilities in this business. So I see those posts online a lot about selling the dream, and that's great. But we need to meet people where they are, or they're not even going to be open to hearing about the possibilities. And we need to share our vision to our teams as well, which I feel like I don't do a very good job of that. I need to be better. And then once they trust you, then you can challenge them to see beyond their current circumstances, both health-wise and the business-wise, if they come along as brand partners. So, my notes here. I hope I haven't been too all over the place and this has made sense. Transactional sales, I want you to walk away and I want you to be thinking and questioning, and not questioning, but analyzing how you're sharing. And it's okay to say, oh my goodness, I do a lot of transactional sharing and I really need to add value and go and I need to be in that transformational mindset because I see myself doing that. I am so thankful that I listened to Bob Heilig and wrote notes to come in here and share with you guys. And I'm learning with you because I've got some major readjusting to do. Transactional sales drive the price down in an attempt to bring to be more attractive, to bring people in, but it doesn't work long term. It's not sustainable. So if you are stuck right now, I encourage you to look at the value that you're giving and focus on the things that we talked about I help and problem solving, because perceived value is so much bigger than what something costs, right? It's like charging people for the classes that I do. I don't really like charging people to come to my classes, but if there's no value, then more than half of them aren't going to show up. And people, when they put $5 down, $7 on a ticket, you bet they show up when they put some value on there. And they don't know what we're going to do with the class. They have no idea if what I'm going to do in the class is going to be of value to them or not. They haven't seen it yet. But when they buy their ticket, they sure do value and show up a lot more consistently. So that's something, to consider too, if you're having classes. And I had to learn the hard way of buying a bunch of supplies and having people not show up. And I don't think it has anything to do with me, the event. It's that people commit to maybe, but when they put their dollar down and buy a ticket, they show up. I think we have less than 10% no-show rate once you start implementing a little bit of a charge. And I make sure that they get their money's worth for sure. I never make money. I charge because that is a commitment, and they'll show up because they value it then. Bob, I think it was Bob that was talking about value, and someone did a taste test with several bottles of wine, and they were blindfolded, and they told them what the wine costs. So there was expensive wine and there was very reasonable wine, and people picked the more expensive wine. But guess what? It was all the same wine. But when they heard that it was more expensive, they picked it. So I thought that was really interesting. And my husband will do that too. He'll choose something and he'll be like, well, it's more expensive, so it has to be better. Like, no, your perceived value, man. At the end of the day, you have to sell yourself on you. You are the most important sale that you will ever make. The most important sale is selling you on yourself. Like, do you believe that you have value to give? And I don't want you to say, oh my goodness, I don't know enough, because after almost 10 years in this game, in this job, I don't even know what to call it in living, my love, there's so much I don't know. That's why we have our groups. That's why we have our communities. That's why we have Google to look things up. So that is not an excuse. Not knowing enough about the products or the science or whatever else systems in our body, that is not an excuse, because you can find that information. But we have to sell ourselves on ourselves. The secret to long-term success and fulfillment is putting love at the center of our business. And that is connecting with people, serving them, solving problems. So I wanted to open it up for conversation for the next couple of minutes. I cannot believe I just talked for 42 minutes. I was worried I was going to talk for 5, not have enough to say. And I didn't see any of the chat going on. So if someone wants to open up and talk about something that you heard, let's do that. I think you can unmute yourselves, can't you? Melissa, why don't you unmute yourself and tell me about that when you were a trainer? Do I have you guys on lockdown? Oh no, good.
No, I did it. When I used to be a trainer, I would do it at a park, and leading up to it, it's just so ironic how God taught me all these lessons through like my past that I could apply to my business. Because when I would offer a free class to moms, I would say, oh, come and bring your kids. We can have some balls over here and some jump ropes and toys for them. And you can work out 30, 45 minutes, whatever it was. They were so excited. They were, oh, Melissa, I want to come. I want that community. I want to work out together. We always have so much fun. You're such a great trainer. No one would show. I would do everything. But when I charged them $5 a visit, my field was full of women every single time. I had an event this past weekend, and I haven't had a successful turnout event for a long time. And I had 22 people come, and I didn't charge them this time. But what I did do is we did a roller bottle exchange. So they all had to bring a roller that they made. So that's money that they had to invest. And then everybody brought their favorite dip. And if you think about it, like if you make a cheese ball, they probably, between the roller and then the food that they brought, probably $20, I would say, at minimum. And there were so many people, I could not walk through certain doorways. I had to go the long way around to get into another room. And all we did was the roller exchange, and they talked to each other, and we had 2 reactivations. 2 people back on loyalty rewards, and so many people were just talking to each other organically, like just, oh my gosh, that's what I use and that's what I love. And that's why I made that roller. And it was a blast. But learning your value has a lot to do with that. Like you were saying, be confident in what you know and what you have to offer. And yeah, I mean, when people pay, they're going to come.
And I had such a hard time because of my mindset of, oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm making money off of them. No, I'm not making any money off of them. It's about committing to showing up, to having some value in the game. So, Melissa, how did you guys exchange the roller bottles? What did that look like?
So what I wanted to do was, originally I thought I was going to do like a white elephant game. They all brought a roller. I had 3 people that made a roller when they were here. One is a brand new member. She doesn't have that many oils to be able to make a roller. So I told her just come and I would help her. One person, no, I only had 2. And I had a member whose house burned down and she has no oils. I know, it's very sad. So I told her, of course, not to worry. And we did her rollers. So my thought was they all would come in, drop their rollers like you would a white elephant. And we were going to go around the room and steal them from each other. And that was my plan. But it ended up kind of being a floating schedule where people were coming later and earlier and leaving before the end. So what I did is put a table out and I called it stop, drop, and roll. So they stopped and made a roller if they needed to, or put a label on it or a cute sticker I had laid out. And then the second section, the drop, was where they would drop the roller that they brought to exchange and they would pick one up from there. And then the third roll was a roller that I gifted them just for coming and attending the event. So everybody came with one roller and left with 2 rollers. So it was just one table sitting right here. And they had that first little station where they stopped and made a roller. The second one where they dropped and picked it up if they wanted to pick up, or they could wait to see if somebody else came and brought something. And then the last one was just a roller for me.
I love that idea.
It was really nice. And the thing was, when it comes to out of my pocket, I made meatballs, a cheese ball, and I made a Ningxia hot apple cider. That's all I made. And then the 3 rollers, including my own. So it's nothing.
How long did you market this event?
Probably about 3 weeks from start to the date. I was asked the other day what I did different this time than last time. And I don't know that I really did anything different, other than I think people are just really missing community. They're really wanting to be together and be in person. But if I had to come up with something that made this one unique, is I spent very intentional time reaching out to people, personally inviting them. Like, I'll just take Julie because I know Julie. I would message Julie and I would say, hey girl, I can't wait to see you Saturday. And didn't fail. Oh my gosh, girl, I completely forgot about it. Let me put it on my calendar right now. I wanted to go. Or I didn't see that email. I didn't see the text, and I didn't see my invite in Facebook. Thank you so much for messaging me and letting me know. And I'm like,
that's key. That's key, because
send a pigeon.
I don't see invites on Facebook to things. I mean, I was asked on New Year's Eve day, hey, you coming to our party? Like, what party? I didn't know you're having a New Year's Eve party. Like,
yeah,
I didn't see it. So for us to think that people see when we throw things up on Facebook or even create an event, we're just kidding ourselves. And taking that fear out of fear of rejection by reaching out to people, we're taking that off the table and making an excuse, and it doesn't work. So good for you. I bet that felt so good. So if you guys are being honest with yourselves, it's kind of hard. It's hard to look in the mirror, but also really exciting, because then you can make changes when you know what to change. Do you think that you live in more of a transactional sales mindset or transformational? And I'm talking about with prospects, not with the people that are already in your organization. Do you think that you focus more on price and product, Or do you think you focus on finding a problem and a solution through organic conversations? I know, sorry guys, I don't know how to turn that off. It's my husband's dumb guy text. It's going to probably drive us crazy for the next couple minutes. If I am being honest, then I think I probably live in a transactional on Instagram, my stories, and I need to start with how it's helping and how it makes me feel versus what it does. Because in this transactional mindset, we think that the more we say about this product, all of the 200,000 things about Ningxia, that's surely going to bring everybody in and they're going to want some. So why is it silence? Why is there crickets when I just shared, 5 different screenshots of everything it does? Well, transactional sales don't work. People have a resistance to that because they're being sold to by every other direction every time they turn around. So if we continue this if I'm talking to myself, if I continue this pattern of transactional sales on Instagram on my stories, I'm not going to stick out, and quite the opposite. People are going to judge and step away, right? And that's not what we want. That's always in the back of my mind, is what do people think about me? I see people see my stories, and then I might see them at the gym or out and about. And I wonder, what do you think about me? Well, if I've been leading with transactional sales, then I know what they think of me. And I got to change that. And it's okay. We can change starting right now. And some of you may be leading with the transformational aspect of it, of I help in finding a problem. And if you are, unmute yourself and talk about it. Teach us how you were able to get out of that, I don't know what to call it, a vortex of price and product. I would love to hear if that's what you're doing right now. Because according to Bob, that's going to change everything for us. And it makes sense. It really does. Because if we stay in that transactional place, and we're just like every single other company, no matter what they sell, coming at us with a good price and how our product is number one, better than everybody else's. Okay, transformational, Sam.
Wendy, can I just say something about how this landed for me?
Yes.
I think it is an amazing thing that you brought up, because I think that the fear that I have about selling is related to that. Like, I don't really want to do it. And then you always hear go from service, but really I do have to just get the product like right out of my mind. Otherwise it's going to linger there and it's going to color it more. So I think from what I gained from listening to you tonight, like I'm just going to just go with that whole transformational thing and just say, like, I just want to help people and, talk to them like I would my sister, just be normal about it and forget the whole product thing and just wait for them to say, well, give it to me. Like, what is it?
We get so excited. We get so stinking excited because we know the value of our products. It's obvious to us. They don't know. And we want to share. And I have been diarrhea of the mouth before, but there's so much value in letting people talk and just listening and giving them a solution to their problem. Because I feel like when I sit back and listen, and I do in person. I just feel like I'm very transactional online, but I'm transformational in person. If you sit back and listen, everybody you talk to is going to give you a reason to bring up Young Living. Some of the times I have to actually bite my tongue because I don't want to come in too hot. And sometimes if you're in a situation like you are at the library or you're at the gym or at the grocery store or whatever, you're with a bunch of people and someone says something and you're like, I got to talk to them about this. Like, this happened last weekend. Someone brought up their female struggles and I just sent her a message, a couple of days later and said, I heard you say X, Y, and Z, have you ever heard about this? And let me show you some information, in the group. And thinking back now, I should have asked her more questions about the condition that I heard that she has. But it might not always be best to start talking in that moment, because if you're with people or what have you, but doing it the next day or later that night when you're at your computer, that might be more comfortable if people feel a little bit awkward about, honing in and asking personal questions or whatever it is. So it might happen the next day, it might happen the next week, but when we are listening, people will continually give us a reason to bring up Young Living. And there are some people in my not immediate circle, but people that I cross paths with that I've talked to about Young Living for 4 years, and they're not ready for it. I'll be here when they're ready, but I have to like bite it so hard that I about cut myself, because I'm like, well, I guess you just like to have allergies. I guess you just like to have migraines. You take those darn Glade plugins out of your house. You might feel better. So, sometimes it's painful so we've had that conversation for 4 years. But when we keep showing up online, when they're ready, we'll be here. So Sam, Karen, focus on I help. Listen, because you're going to have an opportunity to share, and I help versus this Agiles is incredible because it has boswellia powder and so on and so forth. I don't have everything memorized, but Sam, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Talk to us about your transformational conversations, if you will. And thank you for unmuting yourself.
Yeah,
Not being called out.
get to talk and stuff. So, I don't know. I guess I've kind of like dealt with a lot of stuff or deal with a lot of stuff, and then like having like knowing people that have medical issues or just like certain things, and it's just like I don't know. I've always like had that like I want to help people mindset, like just always, always, always. Like I've had that. And I don't know, anytime someone's like talking about stuff or just like, I don't know, telling me about something, like in my head, I'm like thinking, like, not like in all senses, I'm thinking this, just like in some of them or whatever, instances, it's like, how can I help them? Like, in what ways? Like, what can I do to like help them? Like, what do I have that I know would help them or whatever?
Do you
And
ask, a lot of questions?
Yeah, kinda. Like if they're talking about something like medically, then yeah, I kind of will. Because it's like you got to get to know like the symptoms and stuff. Because like when people they'll like because I post like daily Ningxia videos on my story on like all my socials, it's daily dose of Ningxia, and like sometimes I'll post like immune boosting or energy boost or like gotta feed your adrenal glands or like, just little things I'll post or whatever, like improves your mental health or like helps you sleep better, just like, little things. And I'll like change it up or whatever, but like I'm consistent with it. And like I get people that comment about that on like my consistency. And then I get a lot of people. Well, I've probably been doing the videos for like a year almost now because I've been doing it like since I started drinking it pretty much. And yeah, I get like a lot of people I went to like high school with, people like that I've never met before, just people I have on Facebook. They'll be like, hey, what are you drinking? What is that like red drink you're drinking? And like I'll send them some graphics and I'll like tell them a little bit about it or whatever. And then they'll be like, oh, I want to try it. And then like I don't know, give them one of those like 2-ounce packets or whatever when I see them, or like I'll like make it a point to like give it to them, and then yeah, usually most of them will like order Ninja.
That
And
can,
then I don't know, with like oils, I don't know, like give them samples or whatever. Sometimes like they'll actually like ask for a sample, I guess, for basically ask for a sample and just like, I don't know, different little things, I guess.
well, thank you. That consistency is so important. It is, I don't want to say it's everything, but it is just a prong in the wheel of success. Oh, so much inconsistency. Thank you, Sam. So Lisa said that she's a bad connection due to the storm. I didn't know that Tallahassee was getting another storm. So she can't go on video to talk, but would like to talk about vendor events since those feel more transactional in nature due to having just seconds or minutes with people. Yes, I was thinking about vendor events just yesterday when I was looking at Bob's podcast and thinking about what I was going to say today. We do just have a couple minutes, and it is a little bit harder to get into those people's lives, to get them to respond to us, because we have that tiny little 3-minute window to earn someone's trust. So Lisa, can you talk, Lisa, or no? So I have been doing better at vendor events and enrolling more than I ever have. And I don't know if it's the big Ningxia stand-up pop-up sign that I have that has actually transactional stuff on there, like reduces sleep by, or not reduces sleep, reduces stress by 23%, whatever. And I stand there and give people shots, and they come up and we have a quick conversation. But I was just thinking, how am I going to make this exchange more about getting to know them and asking questions? So maybe it needs to sound something like, do you struggle with sleep at night? Do you have a lot of stress in your life? Do you have mobility issues? I don't know what that's going to look like, but it does feel super transactional in that moment. Oh, Lisa says her connection just keeps cutting off. She and her sister Nicole, which maybe Nicole can talk, they are so successful with vendor events. And she said follow-up is key. And I'm imagining, based on statistics and based on my own personal experience, that most people don't follow up after 2 times when they've been ignored. They stop, which is terrible for your rate of success in closing the deal, because 80% of sales happen on the 5th to 12th experience. Yet most people won't do more than 2 follow-ups without a response back, because it feels like rejection, and our brain wants to keep us safe. So why would we put ourselves in a position to be rejected, right, from the stranger we met at a vendor event? But most people stop at the 2nd attempt, but yet 80% of sales are made between the 5th and 12th. So those numbers do not jive. So we got to stay consistent. Lisa said she doesn't stop until they tell her to. She won't make that decision for them. Lisa, I am going to get my book out and follow up with people. And it's something that I started to do, which you would think, okay, you've been doing this for almost 10 years. How did you just start doing this? But I have a book, a binder, and I have people write their information in there. So now it's all in one place. So now my vendor people are all in one little happy place. So I'm not looking for random pieces of paper, because I live in this world, not a digital world. And so you lose these papers and it's not in the forefront of your mind, but when you're carrying around a little binder, they're all in there. So you guys, we've been on for an hour and we need to be respectful of everyone's time. I hope that you walk away and really think about how you're selling, and really think about your sales mindset, and take that fear of rejection and fear of what people think off the table, and connect with your heart and think about the service. Think about the blessing that Young Living is. And something that Megan Trombley told me, and Melissa might have to help me. Actually, I don't know if Lisa and Nicole here heard as well. I might slaughter it, but she said, and I never thought about this, but she said that not offering people an opportunity to order and not following up with people when you give them a sample, I can give you a ton of examples, is selfish. Because we're more worried about what somebody thinks of us versus them getting that product in their hands and helping them. And that was a pivotal moment for me, because she's exactly right. So not following up with people and not telling them about what we have, telling them how we can help them because we're scared of what they're going to think about us, is our ego. And that actually is really selfish. So if you can think of it from that perspective of just from serving, from helping people, and take your own ego off the table, because I believe that our egos are our biggest obstacle in this business. And not to say that people have huge egos. No, an ego is there to keep us safe, to keep us feeling good, to keep us in that comfort zone where nothing good happens, because all of the growth happens outside of the comfort zone. So we need to be aware of that ego trying to keep us in a safe place, because that safe place is not where growth is going to happen. And we want to help people. So if we lead with service and we lead with the mindset of helping people, what they think about us is really irrelevant. We can't control it anyway. All right, now my husband's computer is going off the chain dinging, which is really annoying to you guys. So thank you for being here tonight. I hope that you heard something that sparks an analysis of your own behavior, and that if you needed to change something, that you do, and that it serves all of your people and you and so much better. And that is it. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. Peace out.